Hello, this is Pam at tamborazul.com with my blue drum, the Damaru from Kerala, the drum of cosmogony that's also a H2O symbol. And in this video I want to talk about the Pleiadeans as part of the Eve project, where you've got the capital letter E is three-pronged, representing the three species that are being blended in to make the Adamic race. If you have a pre-existing species, you only need a father and a mother to make a child. But when you're getting into making something new, as we are with the Adamic race, you need three. And in the griffin, you've got the feline, the serpentine, the aquiline. In Egypt, it's a lion, a golden cobra, and a falcon, hawk, or eagle. And then for the Sirian, the tribrid is rooster, wolf, whale, or dog dolphin. Now for the Pleiadian, we've got, it's in the Pleiades, is in the foot of Taurus, the bull. So we've got a cow, or a bull, or cow, ant or bee, and hummingbird. And one interesting thing about the hummingbird is it's not found in Africa, Asia, or Europe, or Australia. Only found in the Americas, North, Central, and South America. And I have spent the last 3 years living in Panama. And I've had a real spiritual education from the Pleiadians. I always knew I was Griffin. I have Austro-Hungarian from both sides, both my mother and father. And like Red Dragon. And of course I knew I was Sirian. The Aquatic Ape is a good book to talk about that. I love to swim. I try and swim every day. And just like Darth Vader being in the water tank to try and keep himself stable. And the little hummingbirds, I had 6 hummingbird feeders up when I was in Alto Jaramillo. I've moved down, I'm in Volcancito now, closer to the radio tower for better Wi-Fi reception, so I can try and put my Eve project course out on, working online. But the Pleiadians are interesting. Where we've got the Sirian is the strong, the brightest star in the sky, the strong warrior, the father figure that's going to set down the laws. You can go this far and no further. What we're dealing with in the Orion Queen or the Griffin and the Pleiadian is that the Queen has abused power. They could, with mind control, take over and put what they wanted into another person's mind and get them, to be like programmed as a slave, which is against divine law. That's some of the things. They could also kill with a word or a thought. And I'll talk about that in a video devoted to them. But the Pleiadians also abuse power, but in the other way. They gave it away due to addiction. And you look at the ant, the bee, the hummingbird, they love sweet. They're always going after the sweet. And when I was studying Sanskrit at University of Chicago, I think it was my 3rd year, with Professor Wendy Doniger, and we were doing, it was just a passage from part of a story about Krishna and about his family, and it was hard to translate. And I came closest with my translation. I said it was a man and a woman in the story, and I said he had her twisted underpants in his teeth, and Wendy said, no, the ladies didn't wear underwear. They wore these, short little skirts. That's it. So, but what it really was, I knew they were up to something. She said what it was he was biting her twisted eyelid. And she explained how, in Krishna's family, they were always doing drunken orgies. They were always into the fermented beverage, probably opium. It's from there up in the Himalayas and that. I mean, the Athenians were running opium, and in Crete and that you have the blown glass poppy head vials that are a telltale sign in ancient Greece. Anyhow, and she said it was common that there was a lot of S&M going on, that a lot of sword play, that the women would be killed. So, sex, drugs, and violence. And I mean, we thought, well, this is like a Hindu Christ. What, we were just blown away. But apparently, and I mean, that's in the Pythagorean system that I studied. I studied the mystery cults to see if what we know in yoga today could shed light into some of the underworld, like Orpheus, Dionysus, the magic and mystery cults, Mithras and Cybele in Rome. Anyhow, here's the picture of Shiva and Krishna. And it's Shiva's the big. Now the Pleiadeans, also Anunnaki, come from there. The Anu are like the little Krishna guy. They're the minions of the giant snakes that Shiva would represent with the red hair. Now the Dene, if they were being a guide to the conquistadors that came in, if there was a red-haired giant petroglyph, that was it. They were gone. The area was too dangerous. You got a Naga there, a giant snake that's going to eat you. Horrible cannibals. The both of them. So, like, I had a Jain for my my first yoga teacher, yoga guru. No idea. Before Britain left, Churchill said, I want photographs and I want pen and paper or pencil sketches of all the ceiling UFO diagrams in the Jain temples, and then you destroy them. I'll talk about yoga another time, but that's... Now, on my last night in South Africa, I went on a night safari, and our driver usually did the walking tours, and he told us the first thing they had to learn was what the animal print to look for, and if they saw that, it was over. It was too dangerous. That animal's in the neighborhood. You go back to camp or back to the hotel. It's done. And he said, what animal do you think that is? It's not the biggest, the elephant. It'll trumpet or give you a false charge. It'll warn you. Also, the lion or the leopard will growl or give a roar. They'll announce their presence if you're getting too close. They'll give you a warning. And the hippos actually kill the most per year. But as long as you know where they are, where their watering hole is, and if you don't get between them and the water, and you stay away, you should be fine. I mean, hippos aren't roaming the Serengeti. So, but he said the one that'll hide and be quiet and wait till you're close enough and then storm out, charge out and stamp you to death, that's the Cape buffalo. And if you see their hoof print, the day's over. So I'm putting into context here, as above, so below, is a maxim from ancient Greece and the Pythagoreans, where every heart is connected to a star up in the sky, and the stars are projecting what's going on down here. Also known as, like in the zodiac, the celestial bestiary. And the Pleiadians have an addiction problem. Could be like with the Cape buffalo, they've suffered loss. because the Cape Buffalo, it's the male that charges, but not just any male, it's the old male, the old bachelors who've been kicked out of the herd, and they're miserable. They're angry, they're bitter. As the males age, they start straggling and they attract the predators, so the younger males kick them out of the herd. And there they are left. They've lost their women, the children, the home, and they're bitter, angry, like angry old men, and they're deadly. So those are the Pleiadeans. The Anunnaki. Anu are the greys, like little Krishna, and they're the minions of the bigger Nagas, like Shiva, red-haired, blue-skinned Shiva. Blue-skin, copper-based blue bloods, but they're not the real royals. The level 12, 9 to 12 Aryans were. But now we're mixed of the red iron-based blood and the copper-based blue blood. We're the color purple, Adamic man. And so we've got, two who've, they're becoming extinct because they abuse power. Like we know the bees are having trouble, and the Pleiadeans, they're a group, they got to figure out something. Well, this is the Eve project is, I think, a beautiful option. And as the Hummingbird said, the thing about Sirians is they're really good at war and death. They love to make things dead. You look at a dog taking an animal, just shake it and break its neck. Not like a cat or a snake in the Griffins. They play with things to death. They love to torture, like in the gladiator arena. They pay, sit and watch things like the Christian ladies being eaten by hungry lions and animals. So we've got the Pleiadeans, and they said, we love life. The Sirians, they love to make things dead. Great warriors. But we love life. We love sweet. We love colors, flowers, gardens, parties. We love life. So they're a good mix. So that's my introduction to the Pleiadeans.